Our project is called Algae City Unity 3D VR Game Development. Algae City is a video game that was created in the Unity game engine and programmed in C#. The various models for this game were created in Autodesk 3ds Max. The primary engineering design behind our project, Algae City, is that we are developing an educational video game to show that algae is a viable renewable resource and to encourage future generations to start thinking about the different uses of algae. To do this, a modular video game was created. Each game module exemplifies one method of algae's potential use as an alternative renewable resource. There are 3 modules that exist so far: the algae reactor, the water purification module, and the biofuel transportation module. The player controls various algae growth-related parameters and creates algae, whose color represents its quality. The purification module involves a pipe game where the user must direct waste through algae scrubbers which take the nutrients out of waste and purifies the water, to the end goal of the clean water pipes. The biofuel transportation module involves the player creating a biofuel mixture of gas and algae oils and then testing the new created fuel by transporting people and collecting fares in a certain period of time. Throughout this project, the constraints that were encountered include a lack of computing power. The models that were created were initially too detailed and as a result took a large amount of computing power and time to render, thus lagging the game and halting our progress. In order to resolve this problem, the game's assets were forced to be much simpler than desired, and models were created with less polygons. Standards followed in our project include the standards of object-oriented programming and the use of the Unity 3D game environment. For game design, object-oriented principles include encapsulation, modulation, and code reuse. These were exemplified and utilized throughout the semester. The Unity 3D game environment acts as a standard because it poses certain limitations and structures that are followed and implemented throughout the game, and without the proper use of these provided structures, the game would be unable to progress. Now we will go through a walkthrough of our game's modules.
So this is a player going through the algae reactor module. You see as they go to the back of the room to read the informational pamphlets in the back. Here is where they would gain information about the game. So by pressing the power button, they can go to the reactor and go back to the different monitors to change the temperature and light value on this specific monitor to optimal values that they would have determined based on the information on the slides. Here's pH and salinity, where the players will determine those specific values. Then the player goes over to the grade button and they press it to see how the grade. So this player did very well and got an A. You can see how the algae reactor changes colors based on their grade. The better the grade, the darker the algae color. Then the player can determine an amount of algae to make on the modules next to that. Then the player can go back and tweak their values to try and get a better score. And see this player got a better score of an A+ after tweaking their grade. This module is the water purification module. The player must connect the algae scrubbers using a myriad of different pipes. There are different ways to connect the pipes, and the best, most optimized path will get the player the best score. This path uses the least amount of pipes. As you can see, this player did very well to connect the 2 algae scrubbers to the end and got an A+. This module is the transportation game module, where the player is tasked with driving a bus around Algae City in order to pick up passengers as well as fuel up on gas. So this is the beginning of the game where the player must fuel up on gas. Right now the UI is not complete for this module, and it's currently just down in the bottom left-hand corner, but it will be completed at a later date. So the player is now fueled up on gas and algae. As you notice, the gas was less expensive than the algae, so the player needs to drive around the city in order to pay for the gas they just purchased. And since the algae is more expensive, that's going to mean that they're going to have to pick up more people in order to be more environmentally friendly in order to support their algae. So the player is tasked with looking for the bus stops, driving up to them, and picking up passengers. Again, all this is just represented in the bottom left-hand corner right now, but it will eventually be represented larger in the screen. So the player just rolled into a bus stop right now, and it's now driving away. As you can see, the player can drive throughout the city, avoid the cars, follow the traffic laws, and try to get the most passengers for their algae bus.
This is our project for Algae City. Thank you for watching.